and Shannon was a teacher.
Lansworth.
Yeah, was a student here too. She said for you.
She worked at Heritage for
Yeah. Yep.
a lot of years before you guys.
I think she still goes between the two pretty often, but.
Okay, come on over, everybody. Oh, now you have the abdominal.
Sorry, I'm not trying to cuddle with you. I just want to see, get a good video.
Okay, we have 6 muscles to do. The first 2 that I'm going to have you do are not pictured on the pages. They're not abdominal muscles, but they are listed in your list. They're intercostal muscles. So we're going to be up here in the rib cage. I'd like you to try to keep your serratus anterior intact. So go a little bit more medial. Try to keep these muscles that you have here intact. But you're going to have to dig under here to find ribs. And so you can see a line right here. This white looks like a little piece of plastic. That's a rib. And then you can feel it too, the ribs. I've got another one right here, another rib. The muscle that runs between the ribs, and here's another lower rib right here. So this muscle is called an intercostal muscle. And this is what helps you when you're breathing with your chest wall moving up and down. Okay. So we have 2 intercostals. We have an external. We learned that on the torsos as well. Okay. Those are the ones that look kind of different color pink. External intercostal and internal intercostal, and they crisscross each other. So the external intercostal is pretty thin. I just want you to poke, kind of like you did on the mylohyoid up there. Just get underneath that a little bit and peel some of that back. So looking at how the grains are running this way, underneath it, the internal intercostal, those grains are running the opposite direction. Okay. So external intercostal, underneath that, internal intercostal muscle. Not much to it. Down on the abdomen, you see the page right there. Can you flip that one around, because on that picture, just entirely 180, yep, turn it. This is the tail and leg part right here, so this is kind of what you're looking at. And what they do is they're having you cut a window into the abdomen, but I want you to note this, that I don't want you to be cutting in the middle of the abdomen right here. You probably won't find all 3 abdominal muscles. Notice how they cut it off towards the side, almost towards the back here. The first muscle on the outside goes at an angle, and that's the external abdominal oblique. Okay? So what I want you to do, you get to be surgeons today, you get to use your scalpels, okay? I want you to very carefully cut the very thin outer layer of external oblique. And again, it's thinner than this layer right here, so they're like paper thin. In fact, if you like bacon, you like external abdominal oblique muscles.
Yum.
You are eating pig or pork.
You ruined so many things for me in this class.
Oh, I don't think that'll stop you from eating bacon. Will it?
No, probably not.
You might think about it next time.
Right. But then I'll remember how delicious it is.
And it'll make you want cat bacon.
Cat bacon.
So kind of like I said, not up in here. And you could find the 2 layers, but to find that very inner one, you're going to have to cut down a little bit farther. So just you're almost like drawing a picture on there. You're not cutting very deep at all. Probably cut too deep already. So that's external oblique. And I want you to make a window with that, kind of like you're skinning it. And that's what they're doing on the picture there, making a window. Underneath that will be internal oblique, running a little bit different angle. You'll know you've cut too deep if you see intestines. Oh, and sometimes, I don't know that anybody in here has a super fat cat, but if you did, you'd have fat layers between these 2. So this next layer underneath here is internal oblique muscle. So we cut external oblique, the next layer is internal oblique, and I want you to do another window through the external oblique, which is going at a little bit different angle than the internal oblique. Look at the angles, how they run. And that last layer will be the transverse abdominis. I can already see that I'm inside a little bit on this guy. So do my best here to just peel away the next layer. If you have a bigger cat, it'll be easier because you'll have bigger muscles. But especially if you got a little cat, like this is a fairly little cat, pretty thin layers. So this is external oblique, internal oblique, and the last layer of muscle here is transverse abdominis underneath that. Like I said, if you go in the next layer, you'll see guts, you'll see intestines on the inside. So you know you're too deep if you've gotten to the guts. So that's 3 muscles, the external oblique, internal oblique, transverse abdominis. I have one more muscle I want you to find, so I have a total of 5 so far. The 6th muscle is the one that's running right down the middle. Okay. Now, we have a big rectus sheath that covers over it, connective tissue. So all I'm asking you to do on this is take your scalpel again and cut this way, very thin slice, not deep in there too deep, but just again kind of running your scalpel along there, and that will cut into that. Maybe enough. Underneath that fascia or rectus sheath, we want to see the rectus abdominis muscle. You don't have to isolate it all the way down. We just want to see the grains and how they're running, so we can see that it's going straight up and down the abdomen. So again, this muscle is rectus abdominis under the rectus sheath.
You love your job, don't you?
Oh, I do. Tearing stuff apart.
Yep.
So that's all I need is just that little window in there. You can kind of see again how the grains are running up and down, rectus abdominis. Okay. So you don't have to do more than that. That's 6 total. When you're done with that,